And then finally bring us to the new guy in the line. Why don't you give us the rundown on the Total One, or the Supreme line?
Supreme Total One, well, Supreme family itself, although it's not the narrowest skate, it's the closest fitting, so it's anatomically formed, aniform fit. And you can actually see in the way that the boot is shaped, we've been doing this since essentially the 190 from a couple of years ago, where we 3D last it. So the machine will actually mold this quarter over this 3D mold. And it's a pretty awesome process to see, all automated, really, really cool. But it allows us to create this anatomical 3D shape, and that gives the boot all of the structure and support that a player needs for all that very aggressive movement that happens in skating. So the Total One is a complete step up from where the 195 was. We've done a lot of interesting things with this particular skate. So the quarter package material is essentially the same. You're still going to have that great alive composite response that you get, so a real good snapback. But we wanted to try and take a lot of those pro features that a lot of kids were clamoring for and bring them to the retail environment. So one of the things that our pro rep does for pretty much every skate that he builds for his guys is this concept of this total edge comfort. And really what it is, it's a synthetic leather that wraps over the top of the skate, and really that's to prevent that cut that some players will get on their ankles, because either they wear it loose or they get that extra movement, and that's going to give them a little bit more of a comfort feel. Nice, stiff, but also flexible. I realize that that's kind of a contradiction in terms, but it's about creating a dynamic range of motion so that when that player powers into those turns, he's going to get that snap back. It's like when kids look at what a hockey player who uses a softer flexing stick does. How does that guy use that stick? He bends it so much, but what then they find out is they get all that energy returned back into it, and boom, they come out of that turn really, really fast. Another concept similar to the tendon guard is the reflex tongue. So when you buy your Total One skate, you'll actually get 3 separate inserts, a medium, a stiff, and an extra stiff. And what the player can actually do is take this insert out and tune the performance of their tongue. So simply slides in, snaps in, and that way you can help create the stiffness the way that you want it. So I wear my skates with the top eyelet undone because I really like to get over my toes, so I'm a medium. But when I tried the stiff and tried the extra stiff, it's something you can really feel, and it changes the way that you skate. So it's up to the consumer to take a couple of skates and find out where they want to be. But an interesting side benefit of this particular project was lace bite for me. Now granted, this is for me, is gone. No concerns about lace bite. It's been really great at distributing all the pressure that comes through, so an added kind of secondary benefit that comes from that. But each skate will come with interchangeable pairs so that they can change the stiffness, and it's fun to play with, but once you're dialed in, boom, there you go. Big story though is definitely going to be the Tuck Fusion, the Tuck LS Fusion steel. So it's aluminum and steel mechanically bonded together, and what that allows us to do is keep the same flex that you get with a Tuck holder and Tuck steel, but lighten it up by 30 grams. So significantly lighter skate. I think you had said that you got a sample and it was sub 700.
Yeah, I weighed an 8D actually, and I weighed in just under 700 though, in the 600 grams range.
So, whenever you talk about weight, you get that concern about overall durability. Everybody's really comfortable with that 195 boot and that high density foam and that aniform alive composite, same material, so the durability is going to be there as far as the overall structure of the boot. It's not going to give out on you, where sometimes those lighter weight skates will have that tendency to maybe crease or kind of break down on you fast. You're not going to see that with that alive composite material.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's definitely, ridiculously light when you hold on, and I think it's great that you guys are really pushing the customized feature to, everyone's a little different, giving it something that they can really customize.
Yeah, even from a cosmetic standpoint, we wanted to try and push the envelope a little bit, and we realize retro is kind of in right now with skates. Everybody likes black, and went to a white felt tongue on the backside, long enough for the kids to kind of tweak and make their own. But to get the best performance out of that reflex tongue, it's to tuck it in all the way, tighten it up, and really let that tongue do the work. So, but we wanted to give it that kind of retro feel with the white felt tongue. And when you go into the Total One and the models below, you'll see that, again, that more traditional full felt tongue, white, black, to kind of give that consumer that old school look that they remember in their dad's skates that are sitting in the basement. A lot of features between ventilated outsole, to allow the skate to breathe. And of course, when you hang them up, it gives it an opportunity to have the sweat drip out, because you don't want the rivets to rust and then you're going to have holders popping off. Even as much as adding some composite material to the bottom of the footbed to give it a little bit more of a stiffness, and then even adding a little grip to the heel just to help lock your foot in so you're not sliding forward and
So
backwards.
would you say with those composite materials down here, you're going to have a little bit of a better feel for the steel underneath?
Well, it's a little bit more about providing some stiffness to the outsole, so that you're going to get that energy transfer. Not necessarily from a feel standpoint, but more about that whole transition of energy. Because the thing with the more material you put between you and the steel is where that stuff gets absorbed. It's kind of like having a shock absorber in there. So if you can use a harder material that'll transfer it through, you'll get that better energy explosion. So. You know, I've been lucky enough to have been skating in a pair of these since like August. I'm super pumped about it. I know that you got to take that with a grain of salt since I'm with Bauer, but I went from Vapors into 195, was really happy, and then had the opportunity to go to Total One, and I'm off the charts excited, and obviously we hope everybody else will be too. So
Great.
Total One, man.
Well, yeah.
Pretty pumped.
Well, thanks for giving us the rundown on the skates. Once again, we're here at Bauer, and this is at inlineIcewarehouse.com.